So hello guys and welcome once again to another of my courses. Before we start, I'd like to thank you all to joining my class. It's really appreciated, and I hope that at the end of this course you will be able to understand all the information that have been transmitted in this course. So let's start. So this course will be really how to help you use the Tor browser and how to navigate on the deep web on a daily basis if you need to navigate there on a daily basis. What will be the content of the course? So at first we gonna see what is the deep web. We're gonna talk in depth what is it, how it works, what's part of the deep web. After that we're gonna see what's the difference between the deep web and the dark web. So it's not the same thing. We're gonna see what's the difference, what are the major differences between both of those things. Um, how the deep web can be used for legal purposes. Uh, because yeah, the deep web is not only illegal stuff. So you're gonna learn this and learn how you can use the deep web on your everyday's life. After that, we're gonna talk about deep web myths. So what's true, what's not true. We're gonna talk about some of them, what the which one are true, which one are false. We also when all this is done, this will be the first theoretical part of the course. Then we're gonna start. We are gonna start like more practical part. So we're gonna have an introduction to Tor. We're gonna talk about the Tor browser. Yes, you have a lot of other browsers to navigate anonymously, but for this course, we're gonna talk about Tor. We're gonna talk about all the Tor security and everything that is around the Tor security, how the Tor security works, and everything that is around it, how you can navigate in a secure way, well, use Tor in a secure way. After that, we're gonna talk about the concept of anonymity. We're gonna talk about anonymity. I will present you different alternatives that you can have to Tor. I will give you some hints how to use them and everything, but we are not gonna go in depth of them. You will just learn that they exist, but we are not gonna use them practically. Um, After that, we're gonna begin our journey, and here we are gonna navigate through the deep web. So I'm gonna install Tor with you guys, and we are gonna set everything up. When this is done, we are gonna visit some deep web websites. I have 10 websites that I want you guys, that we will visit. We will look for. Those are interesting websites, and those are websites that are 100% legal. So you will be able to visit them and just look what it looks like. When it's all done, we're gonna see how we can make purchases on the deep web, because yeah, it's not like on the normal web where you can just put on your credit card and that's it. It's a bit different. We'll talk about cryptocurrency also, because well, cryptocurrency is the currency that is used on the deep web to buy stuff. So we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about the purchase itself. Um, when it's all well After this part, you should know how to get to the deep web very basically. um, After that, we are gonna talk about all the dangers that can happen on the deep web slash darknet, more on the dark web than on the deep web. What are those dangers? And we're gonna talk in depth about each and every danger that is here. It's not like in the movies and everything where creepy stuff happens, and we're gonna talk about the real dangers that can happen. Um, After that, I'm gonna give you some tips to stay safe, and what to do and what not to do to stay safe on the deep web. And when this will be done, well, we'll have a small course summary where we're gonna talk about the whole course. After that, you should have all the knowledge that you need to be able to navigate through the deep web. So the objective of this course is really to initiate you guys to the deep web. I'm not gonna talk about some fancy advanced techniques to navigate and 100% anonymously by using virtual machines and 100 other things. We are gonna. My goal is really to initiate you to the Tor browser, initiate you to the deep web. So this way, you know what's this, how it works, what's a myth, and what's true and what's false, what you will have to expect from going to this side of the internet. And then we're gonna break this fear that you have, guys, of the deep web, and we are gonna go together at this side of the internet, and you will see how it really is, and how everything works on this side. Also, the objective of this course, well, is really to well, as I said, is really to initiate you, and also to initiate you to the concept of anonymity, and how you can navigate anonymously. What you will be able to complete by the end of this course. Well, by the end of this course, you guys should be able to, by yourself, be able to download the Tor browser, and use it 100% in a safe way. You will be able to navigate on all deep web, well, all deep web websites. You will be able to find out good deep web websites and navigate through them without fearing that you're gonna get on some weird website somewhere on the dark web. So really, at the end of this course, you will be able to by yourself navigate on the dark web. You will not need a coach. Also, you will be able to make by yourself purchases, buy your own cryptocurrency, and from buying your own cryptocurrency, you'll be able to buy your own goods on the deep web, and you'll understand how all this works. So that's it for the introduction, guys, and see you in our next class, where we are gonna talk more in depth what is the deep web. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome back to our amazing course about the complete introduction to the deep web. So in today's class, we are gonna talk about what is the deep web. So we are gonna see what's the deep web, what's the difference between the deep web and the surface web. We are not gonna talk about the dark web in this course, but in the next class, we are gonna talk a bit more in depth about what's the dark web. So let's start. Alright, so maybe you saw a picture of an iceberg on Google somewhere that says well, you have 4% of the web that is the surface web, and then you have the deep web that is like from 94 to 96% of all web. Well, this picture is a bit true. Why? Because technically the deep web is just another part of the internet. It's like the hidden web, if we want to say it this way. Why is it this way? Well, it's very simple. The deep web includes all the pages that are not indexed by a search engine, for example, by Google. So what does this make? Well, this includes pages, for example, YouTube, Facebook, any other website that is indexed by Google will be the surface web. So as I said, all pages indexed are the surface web, and then you have all the pages that are not indexed. So you have millions, billions and billions and billions of pages, and those pages are mostly, well, boring stuff. For example, it could be your bank account, it could be your email, it could be pages, well, basically all pages that are protected by a password. It could be, for example, a website that is under construction right now. So for example, a website that is under construction will not be indexed by a search engine. And if it's not indexed by a search engine, well, this means that the website is not on the web yet. Well, he's maybe on the web, but he's not indexed. So it's part of the deep web. And as soon as it gets indexed, well, it's going to be part of the surface web. So you have those pages at first. Then you can have web archives. Those pages are basically old pages of, let's say, current pages. We can say, well, for example, let's say you have Yahoo or Google. Well, they have old versions of them that exist, but they are just not indexed anymore. So those pages will be in the archives. You can access them by using some applications that exist to access older pages, but once again, they are just not indexed anymore. And you have unlinked content. So that's very simple. It's all the content on the web that has no backlinks. What's backlinks? So let's say, for example, websites such as, like, for example, Quora or YouTube. Those websites have a lot of content and they have a lot of backlinks. Basically, it helps them with SEO, but that's not the topic of our course. Backlinks give your website visibility. For example, you put a link on of your website, let's say on YouTube, and people will see this link. That's a backlink. So websites that have absolutely no backlinks and they just exist, they have maybe some content, but they have no backlinks, they have nothing. Well, those websites are very likely not indexed by no search engines, and if they're not, well, they're part of the deep web. And as I mentioned before, well, the majority of the internet is really on the deep web. So what type of content can be found on the deep web? So once again, we're not talking about the dark web. So the deep web, as I said, it could be any type of content possible and imaginable, and you don't need really, well, you will, for the dark web you will need the specific softwares and everything, but for the deep web, well, it really depends. But as I mentioned before, the type of content that you can find on the deep web will be mostly boring stuff. For example, emails, archives, bank account statements, and those pages are usually protected by passwords and things that you can't really connect. So let's answer some questions about the deep web. So the first one is the deep web illegal? Um, well, not really. It's in itself, it's not illegal. If we talk about the dark web, well, deep web or dark web, both of them are not illegal in themselves, because you can have a lot of very interesting information right there that you can't really find on the surface web. But once again, it depends what you want to do with it. Some activities right there can be considered as illegal, but once again, the concept of deep or dark web are not illegal at all. What How dangerous? Well, how dangerous is the deep web? Once again, it's more boring than dangerous, because it's just a huge amount of pages. So let's say, imagine, well, the normal web is the surface web is like, let's say, a small library, while the deep web, let's say, it's a huge library. So it's mostly, as I said, boring stuff. So it's not dangerous, but once again, it's like if you're visiting a website on the surface web that has, let's say, viruses or malwares. Well, you are as exposed as if you visit a website that has viruses or malwares on the deep web. But we are not gonna talk really in depth about all the dangers of the deep web, because yes, you have some dangers on the deep web that you're not necessarily have on the surface web, because, well, the quality of pages and the content are different. Well, some you have some other type of content on the deep web sometimes, but once again, the most part of the deep web is like the surface web. It's really boring stuff. Um, is the deep web same as the dark web? Once again, no. It's both of them are different. We are not gonna talk about it in this class. Are gonna talk about it in our next class. And the last question that we are gonna talk is, can Google search deep web? Well, since it's not indexed on the deep web, since the pages that are on deep web are not indexed by Google, well, not really, because Google is not is not taking those pages in consideration, because the majority of them are well, private, or they don't want Google to index them, and it's understandable. For example, an email service, well, they will not want Google to index, for example, pages that are supposed to be private. So those pages are private and only strictly reserved to the person that owns an email, for example. So once again, this is part of the deep web. Okay, one last question. What kind of stuff you can buy on the deep/dark web? Um, you can buy you can buy anything. That's the thing. It's like a huge market. Well, you have a lot of marketplaces. On the surface web, you have marketplaces such as Amazon or any different things. On the deep web, well, you have other marketplaces. You have normal marketplaces like Amazon, but you have other type of marketplaces. We are gonna talk about it in our next classes. But once again, all of this is really just for educational purpose, and just for you guys to know that this exists. So that's it for this course, guys, and see you all in our next class. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome back to our course about the complete introduction to the deep web. Well, deep/dark web. In today's class, we are gonna see the difference between both of those things. So what's the difference between the deep and the dark web? You're gonna see, guys, the difference. Well, there is a difference between both of them, as I mentioned before in our last class. The deep web is just a place where, for example, there is no indexation from search engines. This means that all hidden pages can be considered as pages from the deep web. It's let's say one layer of protection. But the dark web is a bit different. We're gonna see why. So the dark web, the way you can see it, first of all, it's well, imagine the deep web. Right now, the deep web with another layer of protection. So first of all, to access the dark web, or the so-called dark side of the internet, you need a special software. By special software, we are talking about a software like Tor, for example, which is the most used software in, well, the most popular software to access to this part of the internet. Once again, it's one, and you have a lot of other softwares that you can use. Not that much, but you have some other softwares that can do the job like Tor. In this class, we are really gonna focus at Tor. On Tor, we're gonna work with it. We're gonna work with another software, but we'll principally be working with Tor. So you will need a special software to access those pages, because those pages are not .com pages. They are .onion pages, as you can see in the PowerPoint. Why is it like this? Well, it's simple. You just can't access them on a regular search engine. For example, if you take a page from the dark web, you can't connect to this page via a search engine. If you take a page from the deep web, for example, you want to access to someone else's Netflix account, well, if you take the URL of the person's Netflix account, you're gonna write it down, and you will be on the main page of Netflix, because you have to enter the username and the password to get access. So once again, the page of the person's page on Netflix will be part of the deep web, but Netflix as a whole, like itself, will be part of the surface web. The dark web, as I said, is really a part of the internet that is hidden. Once again, it's not, as people say, a place where a lot of bad stuff happens. Yes, you have this part of the internet, but once again, it can be used very legally, and for a good for a good purpose. So third thing, most pages are very hard to find. Why? Because you don't really have search engines as you have on the regular internet. The way you will search on the deep web is, on the dark web, is that you will really need to have the specific URL of the place that you want to visit. It's very, very important. And you can't just, play around and click anywhere, because, it's not a good thing to do. Usually, principally on the dark web, it's a bad thing to do. So the way you visit the dark web, you need to have specific URLs. You can't just click on some random pages, or just make a research as you do on the regular web, because, as I said, the majority of things that are there are boring and not very, very bad things, as people say. But you have some part of the internet that is a bit more more dark, let's say it this way. What type of information you can find there? Other crypted documents. So you can have more crypted documents. Once again, you need to have access to the website. You need to find the places where those documents are. Sometimes it can be really, really important documents. You have legal anonymous marketplaces. So yes, you have marketplaces not as big, well, way smaller than Amazon, but those types of marketplaces you can find honestly anything on the deep web. You can find people who are selling TVs, people who are selling cell phones, people who are selling all kind of legal stuff. And once again, I don't know why they sell it there. Maybe it works for them, but well, I don't judge. It's their business. So yeah, you have a legal anonymous marketplace. Um, and the difference, once again, another difference between the surface web slash and part of the deep web and the dark web is that, well, on the dark web everything is anonymous. So it's not on the PowerPoint, but everything on the deep web, well, on the dark web, is let's say anonymous, because the software that you are gonna use, which is Tor, well, it helps you stay anonymous. Yes, it's not a 100% anonymity, because yes, you can be tracked and all this stuff, but once again, the purpose of the deep web is really anonymous, well, going on internet anonymously. We're gonna talk about it in our future classes about the concept of anonymity. But okay, so just for you to understand, yes, you have a complete legal anonymous marketplace. Um, Also, what you have also is a complete illegal, a huge illegal network. So when I say huge illegal network, you have absolutely everything. You can have it can go from drugs to guns to, let's say, frauded credit cards. Well, a lot of bad things can be there, because once again, those this part of the internet, there is no law there. Everyone is anonymous, so people do pretty much what they want. This is why there is like a lot of mystery around the dark web, deep web, dark, well, more dark web. There is a huge mystery around this thing, because people think it's just evil and only bad people go there. But once again, no, it's a small part of the internet. It's not like the whole deep web. Like the deep web, let's say it's 94% of the internet, but the dark web and the bad things of the dark web are just a tiny percentage of it. Not as people say, but yeah, you can have very very bad stuff. Like for example, in the illegal network, you can have really bad stuff. You can have racist content. You can have some very bad websites. Um, so yeah, so that's it for this course, guys. Right now, you know the difference between the deep web and the dark web. Um, uh, Besides of that, I have nothing to say for this class. So see you in our next class, where we are gonna go a little bit more in the deep web and see how this could be used for legal purposes, and what exactly you can, well, what legal things you can find on the deep web that could help you in your everyday's life. So see you in our next class, guys. Thanks for watching. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome to another of our classes about the complete introduction to the deep web. So in today's class, we are gonna talk how the deep dark web could be used for legal purposes. So yeah, since I mentioned in our last class, the deep slash dark web is not only bad things. The deep web itself, well, it could be a lot of interesting things, just not indexed by Google. And the dark web, well, there too you have a lot of interesting things, but once again, you have a lot of bad things also. So let's see how this two forms of web can be used for legal purposes. All right. So the first thing is it provides people anonymity. So the main goal of Tor and all this concept of deep slash dark web and everything, well, everything behind this is really the concept of anonymity. So people want to be able to have some privacy when they're browsing, and with today's browsers, for example, if you go on Chrome or Internet Explorer or whatever, everything you do, the more small movement you do, well, you are being tracked by different cookies, and what's happening is that you are constantly, well, huge firms in this world are constantly getting information from you. So this way they give you a lot of ads and you buy their products and all this kind of stuff. But with the deep web, it's completely different. you are 100% anonymous. No one tracks you. You are, let's say, free to do whatever you want. So that's an amazing thing. It provides anonymity. um, yeah, of course, a lot of people, why people are so scared of the deep web or the dark web, is because, well, they're used to safe places. For example, well, Google, well, Google or any other browser, Internet Explorer or Mozilla, well, they are safe places. Websites that you can find there are safe websites, and usually you don't expect to see like stuff that you can see on the deep web, because people will not post this kind of stuff because they can get tracked. But on the deep slash dark web, it's different. Since everyone is anonymous, well, people post any kind of stuff. This is why you can have access to, well, you can have access to bad stuff, but you can also have access to amazing stuff. And when I'm talking about amazing stuff, we're gonna talk about it in our last point also. It could be, well, any kind of information. But yeah, second thing, it gives access well, censored content to people from some countries. What does it mean? What I'm trying to say by this is, let's say for example, you have countries that have some websites that are censored, that you can't access. For example, in some countries in the world, you can't access Facebook or you can't access YouTube. So people who are living in those countries are living massive censorship. They don't have access to some websites. So what's happening is that they don't see like the internet as we see it in other countries. For example, in Canada slash United States, we have access to content that people in China will not necessarily have access to, because the internet is controlled. So the deep web, the browser that controls, that gives you access to the deep web, will give you access to all this data, and you will be able to, well, get access to a lot of content that is censored by governments, and you will be able to watch this content, which is an amazing thing. And once again, it brings us to the point of a lot of information is available on the deep web, since it's around 95, well, from 94 to 96% of the whole internet. You have amazing content right there. And for the censorship part, even this, for example, people who are living in a certain country, well, they will be able to see the world differently. Let's say the government tries to not oppress people, but the government usually in those peoples, well, the government controls media, the government controls everything. And by accessing the deep web, those people will be able to see the world like they will see the world differently. They will not only see what their government or media is telling them to see. Last thing, it brings us to our last point, which is it has a lot of massive information. So what I'm trying to say by massive information, well, first of all, you have all those websites that people can't access will be able to access by going to the deep web. Um, you have huge libraries. You have books, all kinds of books. You have well, when you get to the deep web, you have one thing that is the Tor library, if I'm not mistaken, and well, you will be able to have access to a huge database of books that you can read. So it's a lot of information. Also, since it's like the biggest part of the internet, well, by getting access to, well, the deep web slash dark web, you'll be able to get access to a lot of beautiful information from different countries, different people. Only just the concept of having access to what other people say, or the point of view of some people on some things or some situations, well, it's really a beautiful thing, because once again, people are anonymous, and people, well, they will not retain themselves of saying like the real things, like what they really think. And this way you can see, once again, really beautiful things, but you can also see very bad things. So this is why it's very important to know where exactly you will look to find your information, because as I said, you don't have censorship on the deep web, well, deep slash dark web, since everyone is anonymous. So no censorship means people can say and do whatever they want. without well, necessarily getting tracked, even if some people are getting tracked. But this is the concept of the deep slash dark web. It's really to give you anonymity and give you the power to say things or do things without being censored. So it could be a good thing, a very, very good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. So this is why you have to filter where you try to find out your information. So those are the things that you can, those are the things that are ways for you that you can use the deep web legally. So as I said, to find out information, once again, it could be scientific information, it could be information about a lot of different stuffs, about history, about countries. Personally, I really love the Tor library because you have books about absolutely everything. So yeah, this is personally why I use the deep web very, very often, because as I said, you have a lot of beautiful information, and you just have to know where to find this information, how to filter all this information. Because yes, sometimes you can find very, very bad things, but once again, if you filter your information the right way, everything's gonna be alright. So those are the three things that for me I consider can be considered as why you'll use the deep web for legal purposes, for anonymity, to give access to censored content for countries that live in censorship. So those people will have access to the internet as a whole, and well, give access to a lot of information that is not necessarily on the surface web, but that can be very present on the deep slash dark web. So that's it for this course, guys, and see you in our next class where we are gonna talk about myths about the deep slash dark web. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome back to this fifth course of our course about the complete introduction to the dark web. So in today's course, we are gonna talk about the principal myths and the legends that are around the deep web. I'll give you some examples in this course that you'll see on the PowerPoint, and I'll say some other examples as well. So let's start. So the first myth is that the dark web is huge. Once again, I'm not talking about the deep web, I'm talking about the dark web itself. So the deep web is, as I said, something around 94-96% of the whole internet. The dark web himself, well, is not that big compared to all this. It's only something around 500,000 websites. So once again, it's very, very small compared to the deep web as a whole. So once again, when we talk about the dark web, is all the things that are hidden beside the Tor network, and all the things that you need, you need special softwares to get access to. So once again, it's not that huge if we compare it to the surface web, or if we compare it to the whole deep web as a whole. So once again, that's from sources that you can find on if you make your research, the sources mention that it's not that big. Alright, so the second thing, the dark web is illegal. So until now, you know that the dark web has some very bad things in it, but once again, it's not illegal in itself. Getting access to the dark web, like getting on the dark web, installing these softwares and getting on, I don't know, any type of website on the dark web is not illegal. It's what you're doing after that. If, for example, you just get on the dark web and play around and visit, well, it's not illegal. But if you try to buy, let's say, weapons, well, that's where it becomes illegal. So as I said, dark web as itself is not illegal. It's legal to go on it because, as I said in my past classes, you can have very interesting information there, and you can use it for a lot of educational stuff, educational purposes. So as I said, you have a lot of books, you have a lot of points of view on a lot of different things. It's really an amazing place if you know how to use it, because if you don't know how to use it, well, it can be a very bad thing. Third thing, dark web is completely anonymous. So yes, by using the softwares associated with getting access to the deep slash dark web, you are supposed to be anonymous. But once again, it depends what you're doing online. So um, there is a lot of people that are attracted by the dark web, and not all of those people are there for the right reasons. So you can have hackers. That's a huge place for hackers, and yes, you can get attacked. And yes, depends of what you're doing. There is some kind of stuff that you can, if you do, well, you can get in trouble with law, or for example, getting attacked by other people on the dark web, because once again, if you are there just to learn things and just to read books and to get information, well, it's not a big deal. But once again, if you try it, it's anonymous until someone wants to track you. For example, if the law wants to track you because you done something illegal, well, then it's not gonna be anonymous anymore, because they have the budget to find you. So yeah, it's anonymous, but just to a certain point. It's not completely anonymous. No, no, there is nothing on the internet that is 100% anonymous. Dark web is only used for crimes. So until now, I think you know my point of view about the dark web. If you know how to use it the right way, well, it's not a bad thing. Once again, as I said, you can find beautiful information. You can find books that you can't find necessarily in libraries, or books that well, are very very hard to find on Amazon. You can find PDFs of those books. You can find really quality information there, as well as you can find forums on a lot of different topics, which can be political, financial, about governments. There is no censorship. So once again, it's not only for crimes, it's for people like you and me who just want to learn new things. Yes, you have criminals on the dark web, but you have even more criminals on the surface web. Why is it like this? Because on the surface web there is a lot more people. So if we talk about cyber criminality, trust me that hackers will be more present on the surface web than on the deep web, because on the dark web, sorry, because the dark web doesn't have a lot of traffic compared to the surface web. That's why hackers will tend to attack more surface web websites than dark web websites, because it's harder to attack those the websites that are on the dark web, because once again, there is not that much traffic and everyone's using the Tor network, and it's way more harder to reach those people than to reach people on surface web, where the information is way more accessible. If we talk about crimes, like not cyber crimes but real crimes, well, that's the exact same thing. Criminal activities happen more on surface web than they happen on the on the deep slash dark web, because once again, there is way more people on the surface web than on the deep slash dark web. um, so yeah, that's for the crimes. And once again, as I told you before, the dark web can be used for a lot of good stuff, a lot of good purposes. So for me, it's not a place of crimes, and for a lot of people who know how to use it, it's not a place of crimes. It can be, once again, a good place for informations. It's very hard to access the dark web. No, it's very easy to get access to the dark web. What's hard? It's navigating the dark web the right way. Finding websites or links to different websites. It's very easy, but once again, you don't want to get on the websites where you have viruses and your computer gets attacked or shut down, because once again, it's not a crime. It's not a place only for crimes. But once again, if you click on the wrong link, well, you can get on websites that you don't really want to get on. This is why it's, well, it's not hard to access it, but using it the right way, well, it's a bit more harder. It's gonna take you a bit of time to find the places where you can find the things that you're looking for. For example, you want to find information, I don't know, about let's say political regime of a certain country. Well, you have specialized websites there. Let's say you want to find a book about I don't know, the sea. Well, you have places on the deep web where you can find this book, or books related to your subject. You have places where you have a lot of knowledge. So once again, it's not hard to access the dark web, but it's harder to know how to navigate the right way through the right way through the dark web. So you don't really need to be an expert to get access to this website. So that's for all the myths that are around the dark web. And then once again, it's very important for you guys to not believe all the creepypasta that you can see on YouTube or any other platform about the deep slash dark web, because a lot of those people who are saying, well, who are saying a lot of things about deep slash dark web is they are never been there, or they've been there for like 30 seconds, they just leave, because once again, it's if you know how to use it the right way, well, it's not a it's more a boring play. It's like the normal internet, but just websites are less let's say flashy or less attractive. That's the only thing. But besides of that, if you know how to use it, well, it's a really great place to learn new things, and well, most of all, learn new things and read new books. So that's it for this course, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you in our next class, where we are gonna talk about the softwares that we can use to get access to the deep web. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome back to our course about the deep web, the complete introduction. So in today's class, we are going to have an introduction to Tor. Why Tor? Well, very simple. To access the deep web, the dark web, I've told you that you will have to use a software. So the software that we are gonna use today is the most popular software that exists on the market. This software is Tor. So this is why we are gonna talk about it. So first of all, what is Tor? Tor is an open source project. This means everyone can contribute to the project. The main goal of this project is really to promote anonymous navigation on the internet. This way, people can have access to information that they want without having to reveal to everyone who they are. So it really helps with the anonymity. So how the Tor browser works, it's very simple. The Tor browser works has an onion network. So when you see an onion, what do you see? Usually an onion has a lot of layers. So that's exactly the same thing when we talk about Tor. You have Tor, and let's say for example you use another web browser, because yes, Tor is a web browser at first. So let's say you use, for example, Google Chrome. When you use Google Chrome and for example you want to get access to Google, what's gonna happen is that Google Chrome is gonna send a request to Google's server, and the request will come back and give you access to Google. With the Tor browser, is different. The request is gonna go, so you will send a request to Google from your computer, but the request will go, for example, to a server or a computer in another country, and then another country, and then another country, and then finally go back to Google. So what just happened is that Tor sent it he sent the request by a lot of computers. This way, the person who received the request, let's say Google received the request, and the request will do once again the whole travel back to you. So why this is done? It's very simple. It's because it's a good way for not getting tracked, at least on a basic level, because the request that passes through a lot of computers slash servers, and this way people who are making research on the internet are way more harder to track than people who use, for example, Chrome or Mozilla or internet or just a simple VPN. So if you few questions that people ask is, for example, do Tor hide my IP address? Yes, Tor, by passing through different computers slash servers, will hide your IP address, and that's one of the main goals of this software, is really to help you stay anonymous online. And by hiding your IP address is one way for you to stay anonymous online, because no one will know where you are and from where you're browsing. Yes, Tor is a browser for people who are asking. So it's the same thing as Mozilla Firefox or Chrome or whatever. The only difference between this web browser and the other ones is that this one is focused on really staying anonymous. Is it free? Yes, Tor is completely free. It's, as I said, an open source project, so it's completely free to get access to Tor. And no, it's not illegal to use Tor for those who are asking. The deep web, once again, it's not illegal. So the software that are around getting access to this side of internet are also not illegal. Um, Once again, well, why the Tor browser was born? One of the main reasons why the Tor browser was born is really to help answer a need of anonymity when browsing online. So a lot of people were browsing online and wanted to stay anonymous, and it's really hard to be anonymous, especially online. Um, because when you're browsing, well, even where with Tor, if someone wants to track you down, there are ways to track you down. So with other browsers, well, it's very simple to track someone's down. This is why the Tor browser was born, because it was born really to help people stay anonymous online without having everyone know what they do exactly. So that's why the Tor browser existed. And as mentioned, the main goal of the Tor browser, well, it's very simple. It's helping people stay anonymous, especially online. So that's the main goal of the Tor browser. Uh, the browser itself, well, the Tor project began in 1990, and it was fully developed something around 2006, if I'm not mistaken. The first version came out in 2002, well, the initial release. But yeah, so the project itself has really, well, something beautiful behind it, because as I said, it's really to help people staying anonymous, because as we know, in today's society, everyone's tracking everyone. So the Tor project is really helpful for this. And yeah, besides of that, the Tor browser, as I said, is really to help anonymity. So right now we have some kind of idea about what's Tor, how Tor works, if it's legal or illegal, and so as I said, it's nothing strange, it's nothing scary. The Tor browser is just another browser as the other ones, well, as any other browser. The only difference between this browser and others is really that it's focused on staying anonymous and helping the person that uses it staying completely anonymous online. So that's it for this course, guys, and see you in our next class, where we are gonna talk about the security behind Tor. Alright, so hello guys, and welcome back to another of our course about the complete introduction to the deep web. So in today's class, we are gonna talk about Tor security and how to use Tor safely. So let's start. So what is Tor? Tor stands for the onion router. It comes, well, this is a web browser, as we talked about it in our last class, and it gives the possibility to people who use it to stay anonymous online and to get access to the deep web. But is it safe to use? Well, yes, normally it's safe to use, but you have to take some safety measures. Once again, Tor is not something that will prevent you from getting viruses or malwares or whatever. When I'm talking about safe, I'm talking from a anonymity point of view. So if you want to be anonymous, or if you want to be, let's say, under law when you're going on internet, yes, it does a pretty much good job. It's not a 100%, because no web browser can guarantee a 100% anonymity, but once again, it does a pretty good job. So for data encryption part, so how Tor protects your anonymity, as we mentioned in last class, well, it uses an onion. The way it works like an onion. So it will start at your starting point, and let's say, for example, want to go to Google. Well, it's gonna pass through the different, let's say, computers. It's like an onion. When you take off layers from an onion, when, well, there is a lot of layers, and it's very hard to get the first, let's say, layer, or first user who, for example, wanted to get access to Google, which in this case is you, because you are connected to Tor and you want access to a certain website. So let's see it this way. So for the data encryption part, well, it's very, let's say it's very good. It's pretty much good, and yeah, so it works pretty well. But once again, Tor doesn't prevent everything from end to end. So well, from one part to the other, let's say from your side to the website you want to connect to. And you will have to be careful because, once again, there are people who are able to track you if you do some bad things on the deep web. So how to stay safe? First thing, well, second thing, I mean, you have to be careful with some plugins. So when you're connected to the Tor browser, you don't want to download a lot of plugins that you can find on internet or on YouTube videos. Why? Because Tor is already completed. So when you download the program, it's already completed. And if you download plugins, well, it can interfere with the job that is already done by the browser. The browser itself works pretty well, so you don't have to add a lot of plugins to it to make it work better. It has more chances to, well, to put you at risk than to help you with anything, because none of those plugins is guaranteed to be secure. That's the thing with all the plugins that you download to Tor. Um, Next thing is when you're navigating on the deep web and you want to be 100% sure that you're anonymous, I personally suggest you to close all the apps that are connected to internet on your computer. So that's my suggestion. I personally do it. Um, why? It's because, well, people say that people say there are ways that people can track you if you leave those apps open. So it's just a tip that I personally use. I don't leave apps open on my computer when I'm navigating on, let's say, the deep web, or when I'm connecting to the Tor browser. So that's another safety tip that I can give you if you ever navigate on the Tor browser. Next thing, when you will be connected to the Tor browser, the Tor window will it's gonna be a certain size. So don't maximize the size of this window. Why? Because by maximizing the size of your window, you putting yourself at risk that you can get tracked, or your anonymity, well, it decreases. When you will, well, where we will be at the course where we gonna download Tor, you will see this warning when the Tor browser will be downloaded. You will see the warning that you are not secure when your window is maximized to the max. Um, so this is why that's another safety tip that I can give you. Don't maximize your Tor browser window. Leave it as it is. You will see the size of it is not that small, so you'll be able to navigate comfortably from your computer on your Tor browser without having to maximize it. Next thing, never ever ever download documents on the deep web or slash I mean dark web. Why? You don't know what's in the documents. You don't know how much viruses you can download. Especially, for example, you go on a streaming website and you wanna download movies on the dark web. Well, it's a very bad idea to download movies there, because there is more chances that you download some virus or some malware that will connect to your computer and steal all your data that you download a movie. Because all those websites in the surface web are filled with ads and with viruses. So in the deep web, it's even worse. You have even more chances to get a virus to your computer. So never download no data. Never. If you receive an email on your deep web message service, do not, well, you can open it, but if you receive, for example, attachments that ask you to download something, well, don't download it. On the surface web, when you receive an email of something, is someone who you don't know asking you to download something, well, the best thing to do is not downloading it. Well, it's the same thing on the deep web. Well, don't do it, because you'll see you're gonna get yourself in a lot of trouble, especially if you don't have an antivirus, or if you're not using a virtual machine. And in this course, we are not talking about connecting your Tor to a virtual machine. We're gonna talk about Tails, but it's a bit different. But yeah, let me just give you a quick virtual machine. If you connect your Tor to a virtual machine, it's a bit different, because you will be able to, well, if you catch viruses, the viruses will only affect the virtual machine. It will not affect your computer. Once again, in this course, we are only talking about getting connected to the deep web, not using a lot of stuff to be like 100% anonymous. Yeah, beside of that, don't play around on the darknet. When you are on the darknet, you need well, what I suggest you personally is you will need to have a list of websites you want to visit. Let's say, for example, you want to visit this website or this website. Uh, well, you know where you're going, you know exactly what exactly you want to visit. And if you need to make some researches, well, make them on the ClearNet or the surface web, or well, you can go on certain forums that can help you with this. But don't start looking around and clicking on all links that you can find on the deep web, because there is more chances that you go on an unwanted website than anything else. So once again, be very very safe on this part. So you will need to have a clear website where you want to go. If not, well, make your researches on the surface web for the links, and then only after that you try those links on the deep web. So let me summarize. So once again, data encryption for the safety, it's pretty much good. So it works the right way. So be very careful with the plugins that you can download for the Tor browser. Download nothing from when you're visiting the deep web. Nothing, never. Close all apps when you're using Tor. So don't forget about this. All app closed, only the Tor window open. Don't maximize your Tor window, because you can be tracked if it's maximized. Don't open downloaded documents, or don't download no document. Don't start downloading stuff, because it can be viruses, malwares, or any kind of stuff. You're not on the surface web, you're on the dark web, so you have to be very careful. And don't start to play around once again, because you can get on websites that you don't want to get into. So that's it for this course, guys, and see you all in our next class, where we are gonna talk about the concept of anonymity. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome back to another of our classes of our course about the deep web. So in today's class, we are gonna talk about the concept of anonymity and the Tor alternatives. So when we are talking about the concept of anonymity, I really want to talk about why people want to be anonymous, and this concept as an all. So let's start. So the first question is why people want to be anonymous online. So there can be a lot of reasons to this. The first of all, people just want to be anonymous. People just don't like to be spied on, or to feel that someone is watching them, or whatever, any kind of reason related to this. Second reason, for example, people are visiting sites that are censored in certain countries. So as I mentioned in my past classes, there are countries on this world where you can't access some websites. For example, some people can go on Facebook in some countries. So let's say if they use the Tor browser, well, they will be able to access Facebook or any other website. For example, in some countries, there are news websites that are banned. There are journalistic websites that are banned. Well, by using the Tor browser, you will be able to access all of those websites, just because you will be able to access all those websites. So those are the major reasons why people want to be anonymous. Also, if people want to write something, let's say anonymously, well, they can do it on the deep web, and by using the Tor browser, because if they do it on the surface web, well, if they living in a country where the censorship is very very hard, well, they can be in a lot of trouble. So that's why. Next thing, is it possible to be anonymous online? So right now we are talking about the concept of anonymity, but is it possible to really be anonymous online? So personally, I think no, because yes, Tor gives you a certain anonymity and everything, and if you're using a VPN or any other thing that hide where you are, yes, you are anonymous until a certain point. But if you're doing if you're doing illegal things or any related stuff to this, well, there is a lot of chances that police or internet police will want to track you. For example, if you're a hacker and you're hacking or whatever, well, there's a lot of chances that the police on the internet will want to track you, and they have a lot of budget. That's the difference between you and them, is that they have a lot of budget. This means they have a lot of resources, and they can, even if you think you're anonymous, well, you're not really that anonymous. So yes, there is a certain anonymity on the web, until a certain point. Once again, if someone really wants to track you and has the resources, well, it's possible to track people, even people who are using the Tor browser with I don't know how much layers of protection. So yes, it's possible to be anonymous online, but you never can be 100% anonymous. That's the only thing. Next question: using a VPN versus a Tor browser. So basically, the difference between a VPN and the Tor browser is that a VPN will generally be more faster, and since they have their own servers, the main reason of that is because the VPNs have their own servers. Sorry, and Tor is a bit much slower because Tor depends of people who are volunteers, um, to get the relays of, let's say you are going to Google. Well, you need people to relay, you who want to go to Google. So they depend on volunteers. But VPN companies have servers all over the world, and that's why they are much faster. The only thing is, that Tor proves that it works, and proves that it's something very reliable, and also Tor is free, so you don't have to pay for it. So me personally, I like Tor, and honestly, when you are going on the deep web only to, for example, let's say, read books or read some kind of news that are censored in some countries, well, with Tor you will be okay. You don't need any fancy VPN or any other type of stuff. And don't try to add a VPN to Tor, or because usually, as I mentioned in my last class, Tor comes with already built-in features, and Tor mention it when you install it, that it's not a good idea to just when you install Tor, to add other third-party material to Tor, third-party plugins or add-ons. It's not a good idea because Tor has already his things, and until now it works pretty well. So right now, is there any alternative to Tor, or not really? Once again, that's a good question, and you have a lot of alternatives, but for me personally, I know three of them that works well. The first one is Freenet. Freenet works very well. It's also a peer-to-peer platform. It helps. Well, it has the same goal as Tor. It it tries to well it tries to not promote censorship. It tries to decrease censorship in the world, and countries who are censoring some, for example, news, some datas, or some things. Well, this platform, let's call it like this, is really against it. So if you're looking for something, let's say like Tor, Freenet is like this. The second, let's talk about I2P, the second one. I2P is Invisible Internet Project. Once again, it's another thing that is something like Tor. It's an anonymous network layer. Once again, it has 55,000 computers and works a bit the same way as Tor, so it's relays. So for example, you go on Google and it works exactly the same way. So there are relays that will pass by a lot of computers. So this way, no one will be able to go back to you. Well, it's gonna be hard to get back to you. And the last little thing, the last alternative to Tor, it's Tails. But it's not really an alternative to Tor because it works with Tor. And we are gonna download it also. We're gonna work with it a bit later in this class. So Tails, it's very simple. It's a live system, and his goal is also to preserve privacy and anonymity. Sorry. This system works directly with Tor, and Tor is integrated to Tails. So this way, not only, well, it's a major advantage to have it, because what's happening with Tails is that you will have it on a USB key, so you will be able to access the deep web anywhere. So let's say, for example, you're going, I don't know, in a coffee somewhere, and you have your laptop, or you're I don't know, you have a laptop or someone's laptop. Well, you can take your USB key that has Tails on it, plug it on the laptop, go on the deep web, let's say read some news, and well, just unplug it, and all the data will not be saved anywhere. It's gonna be, well, it's gonna be erased. So Tails is really, really an amazing tool to use, and this is why we are gonna learn how it works. The best part about it is that everything that you guys are gonna see in this course, well, all the material that you guys are gonna use in this course, that includes Tor or Tails, is completely free, and it works very, very well. It has been tested not only by me, but by a lot of people on this planet. And also it's all legal, and it works well. Once again, it works very, very, very well. And for those who want to stay really anonymous, or just navigate on the clear web anonymously, well, you're gonna see it works. It's a very good way to do it. It costs nothing. Yes, it's gonna be a bit slower because you will have to wait, because as I explained, Tor, the way it works, it's a lot of people who, well, when you make a request to a server, it's gonna relay by a lot of computers, and this is one of the reasons why it's a bit slow. If you have money and you want to pay for a VPN and you want to stay on the clear net, well, you can do it. But if your goal is to go on the deep web, well, you're gonna see Tor and Tails will be your best friends in the next classes, and even after this course. So I think right now you understand what's the concept of anonymity, and why people want to be anonymous. We also saw what are some Tor alternatives. Yes, you have some other Tor alternatives, but for me, those three are pretty much very good. My favorite is Tails. Tails works directly with Tor, so yes, it's a Tor alternative, but it also works with Tor, so it's not really a Tor alternative. It's like something that works with Tor. So that's it for this class, guys, and see you in our next class, where we are gonna go on the field and we are gonna start working with Tor, and we will install it. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome back to our 9th class of our course about the deep web, the complete introduction. So in today's class, we are gonna download the Tor browser on our computer, and well, set it up so this way you will be able to use it for, well, as a primary browser, or just as browser to browse on the deep web. So until now, you know all the theory that you have to know to be able to download, well, to be able to navigate on the deep web. So let's start our journey right now. So the first thing you want to do, guys, is open up your normal search engine. If you have Chrome, well, open up Chrome. Then very simple, you go on your search engine, simply write down Tor. When it's done, well, you're gonna click on the first link. It should be look like this. So it's gonna be Tor, done it now, and you click on download the browser. When it's done, very simple, simply choose your machine. If you have a Windows, download it for Windows. If you have a Mac, for Mac, Linux, and Android. So you simply click on download, and it's gonna be downloaded on your machine. When it's done, you should have a thing like this. Well, you should have this tab that will appear, which is Start Tor Browser. You simply click on it. It's gonna load. You'll see it's a bit slower than the other browsers, but it's because you have a lot of, well, you have add-ons on it that make it more secure. So you'll see maybe the first time that you download it, it's gonna take a bit more time. Alright, so here is our Tor browser. So it should look something like this. So the first thing you want to do, guys, well, the first thing we will see how it is. So as you can see, it's like the Mozilla web browser. It's this, well, the look is a bit looks the same. So let's look, the first thing we want to look for is what are the add-ons. So as you can see, you have already two add-ons on your Tor browser. The first one is HTTPS everywhere. So this way, all the websites that you will visit will have a, well, automatic security on them. So they will automatically generate a HTTPS thing. Then you will have another thing that is no script. So that's this way will increase your protection when you will navigate on the browser. Next thing we want to do is the security level. So simply we'll click there, then we'll go on the security level. From here we're gonna talk about, well, all the setup of the Tor. If you want to set it up as your default browser, simply check right here. Once again, as I said, it's a normal web browser as any other, so you can use it as an everyday browser. It's a bit longer because, well, it's longer because it's more, let's say, anonymous, but you can still visit Google or any other website with it. Alright, so here if you want to change the appearance of the Tor, if you want to change the language, it's going to be here. Here, click the second one, because you always want to decide where you will save your files. So let's say you want to save a file on your desktop and another file at another place. You can do it, or what you can do also is save files to, and then you create another file that you will name Tor, and all your files that you downloaded from, let's say, the deep web will be saved there. But once again, don't download files from the deep web, but in case you do it. Then for the updates, it's gonna be here. For example, if you wanna download updates to your Tor browser, it's gonna be there. So you decide if you wanna download them automatically, or if Tor will ask you to download them. This little thing here is home, so it's not very important. It's just to let you decide what is gonna be your homepage. So you can add a custom URL, or it could be the page about Tor, which is this page. Same thing for new tab. Next, the search. So here you can decide what will be your default search engine. And finally, the security page, which is the most important page. First thing you want to click on is right there. So all your cookie and data has to be closed when Tor is closed. So you will have no cookie left on your browser when the Tor browser will be closed. Login and passwords, never leave your passwords nowhere, so your passwords don't have to be saved. So don't check those things right here. Once again, for the history, always use a private browsing mode, so check this thing there. After that, for all the permissions, very simple, you click on settings and you check this box right there, so block new requests. This way no one will be able to send you requests. If, let's say, you're on Skype, you're doing some FaceTime from the Tor browser, well, you can maybe activate it. But when you're browsing the deep web, just block all everyone that can send you a notification to get access to your location, camera, mic, or notification. Same thing here, so check up all the things right there. So block websites from automatically playing sound, pop-up windows, and warn you if a website wants to install add-ons. This is, for example, if a website wants to automatically install something on your computer, well, you will block it there. If you want to add some exceptions, well, you can click there and you add the exception website. So this is, for example, you're streaming movies online, where you go on a website where there is a lot of pop-ups. On the Surface Web, you can just check this box and you'll have no pop-ups on your computer, which is a great thing. Then for your security level, you have 3 levels of security. Standard, this one is when you're visiting, let's say, the Surface Web. Let's say you're on Google or whatever. you check this one right there. If you want to have a more safer, well, navigation, you can check the second one. What we will do, it will disable all JavaScript everywhere. Well, everywhere, sorry, on only no HTTPS websites. So let's say, for example, it's a .onion website that is not secure. Well, it's gonna be disabled. The JavaScript will be disabled, so you won't see pictures and some other things. Same thing for some symbols and well, some fonts. And the audio video will be click to play. So for example, you have a video, you will have to click to play. So videos won't start if you didn't click on them. And the last one, well, it's the safest one. It's JavaScript is blocked everywhere, so there is no JavaScript. You can't have any attack on your computer. A lot of icons and symbols and pictures are disabled also. And finally, the same thing for audio video. And the WebGL, well, it's gonna be click to play. So if you wanna, for example, watch a video, you will have to click on it. Then you'll check all those 3 boxes there. It's to block you from dangerous and deceptive content, so you want to check it. And for certificates, check the second one. So it's gonna ask you every time. For the fifth tab right here, you have nothing to check. It's a bit for more advanced features. If, for example, you have a proxy, but for now we don't need to use. We don't have to use this feature here. So as you can see right there, you have DuckDuckGo, which is the Tor browser's search engine. It's a private, well, it's a anonymous search engine, and you have also a a .onion version of DuckDuckGo. But for now, let's look what it looks like when you make a search on it. So let's say we look for DuckDuckGo deep web version. So as you can see, it takes a bit more time, but you can see it gives you all ClearNet results. So let's click on a result. Here we go. So as you can see, it's well, this is the ClearNet version of DuckDuckGo, because it's a .com website. But you also have a version that is for the deep web, which is a version that says .onion. So let me show you where is it. It looks something like this. So as you can see, this website is, well, it has a lot of numbers and letters. It's not a conventional website, and it's a .onion website. Once again, it's just the version of DuckDuckGo that is that is on the deep web. It's a .onion website, but besides of that, it's the same DuckDuckGo, only it's, as I said, a more anonymous version, we can say it this way. So that's it for this course, guys, and see you all in our next class, where we are gonna visit some websites on the deep web. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome back to another of our class about the deep web, the complete introduction. So in today's class, we are gonna see a list of websites and even visit some websites on the deep web. So when you access the deep web, the safest way, what you can do. The first thing that I suggest you guys to do is really to access the hidden wiki, which is like a website on the deep web where you have different categories, and you have other websites. So it's a good start just to start on the deep web. So let's get there. So as you can see, the hidden wiki is like a Wikipedia, only it's version the deep web version. So as you can see, you have a lot of categories there. You have, let's say, there's big, volunteers, financial services, commercial services, and you can find some weird stuff here. For example, gun market. So those stuff. Well, it's fun to look on, but I don't suggest you to visit those places. You have blogs, so interesting places. You have email services on the deep web that can that let you send emails anonymously. You also have social networks. So as you can see, you have a Facebook version of on the deep web. You have forums. You have a lot of other stuffs. So we are gonna visit one of the some of those websites that are interesting. The first one that I can suggest you is SecMail. So I think he is in emails category. It's this one here. So it looks like this. So it's an email service. Very simple. You simply sign up. You create your. You only create your email. So once again, they don't ask you for your name. They don't ask you for nothing, and you have an email with them, and you can receive emails, send emails, and it's all completely anonymous, which is really cool. Also, it as I said, you can send emails anonymously. Besides of that, you have many other things. Also on the deep web, I told you guys you have search engines. One of the most populars is Torch. So Torch is somewhere here. Here we go. We have Torch right there. So once again, you'll see websites are loading very slowly. But as you can see, you have a search engine that is Torch. So we can, for example, well, I don't suggest you to write down things on search engines, but just to know that you have search engines here as you have on the clear web also. You have also the DuckDuckGo version of the deep web. So we saw it in our previous class. So it's like DuckDuckGo. And as I said, you have a lot of different categories. I suggest you to just look around. What else? There are some weird things. For example, you can talk to with the random people. For example, it's the thing right here. So it's like a social network where you can talk to one person, or you can group chat with random people. So let me show you what it looks like. So as I said, it's like a random chat where people talk with each other. So as I said, you have a lot of weird stuff on the deep web, and the majority of it is pretty much boring, but you can find interesting things. So as I said, guys, the first place that you want to visit when you're starting out on the deep web will be really the hidden wiki. On the hidden wiki, you will find out all the categories that exist on the deep web. You even have websites that are in other languages. So for example, if you want French websites, Finnish websites, German websites, you have all this right here. It's a good place to start. What I suggest you also is to visit some forums or places where you can talk with other peoples. For example, the blogs or forums. I suggest you really to look at those. You can find interesting information about the deep web as a whole, and about the deep web. They can suggest you some places, some links. For example, if you want books, if you want music, well, you have all this right here. If I'm not mistaken, you have you have books right there. You can just check in. You'll find out that it explains each link has its description next to it. What else? I think that's it. So the same things that you have on the surface web, you have the same versions of this on the deep web, and you can do the exact same things on the deep web that you can do on the surface web. The only difference is that on the deep web, well, it's all anonymous, so you find a bit more stuff. But besides of that, it's the same thing. And as I said, the only difference is that it's anonymous. So that's it for this course, guys, and see you all in our next class, where we gonna talk about tails. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome back to another of our courses about the complete introduction to the deep web. So in today's class, we are gonna talk principally about tails and well, Tor alternative, and we are going to focus on tails. So I'm gonna explain you what exactly is tails. I'm gonna show you the website of tails, but we are not gonna do the complete setup since this class is really for Tor. But once again, it's very important for you guys to have an introduction to tails and know what it is exactly, how it works, and what's the difference between tails and Tor. So let's start. Alright, so what is tails? So the main difference between tails, the main difference between tails and Tor is at first that Tor is like a web browser. Well, Tor is a web browser. It's a way for you to connect to the deep web or to any other website. But for tails on the other side, it's a complete operating system. So when you install tails, you're literally installing a complete operating system that will help you hiding, well, your identity, and it works with the Tor. So it helps you stay anonymous. So when you install tails, as I said, you will install Tor on tails and you will work with both of them. So your anonymity will be to the max. Is it better than Tor? Well, not really, because as I said, the tails is really an operating system. Tor is the browser. Better, it can be, well, practically, yes, it's better. Why? Because when you are able to use tails anywhere where you want. Why? Because, well, tails is not installed on your computer. Tails will be installed on a USB key or will be installed on a DVD-ROM. So this means that you can connect directly to the deep web on any computer that you want without leaving no trace. So you will leave no trace of that you used a computer to connect to the Tor browser. This is why it's cool using this tool that is tails. Also, well, that's why in general tails is a bit better than Tor. Besides of that, it's pretty much, well, the level of safety, there is no big difference between it. Tails can be run on Windows, on Mac, on Linux, so it can be run on all types of machines, which is also very, very cool. And yeah, as I said, the main quality of tails is that it can run directly on any computer just with a USB key. So you make the setup only once, you set up your program once, and then after that you can run it on any machine that you want, or a virtual machine. If you guys use a virtual machine and you know a bit how it works, well, you can run it on a virtual machine as well as on a normal machine. Third thing, is it hard to set up? Well, absolutely not. If you guys are interested to set up tails, I suggest you to simply follow the steps that they have on their website. We're gonna see it a bit later in this class. So what the website looks like and where exactly you need to go to install your to install this app if you guys are interested to use it. Once again, this course is really about using Tor, but you can use tails because Tor is in tails also. It's just a system. But no, it's not hard to set up at all. It took me, well, you need some components, of course. It takes about 2 hours of time. You need also 8 gigabytes, a USB key of at least 8 gigabytes. But the way they explain it, it's very, very simple. It's very simple to install. Can tails be hacked or compromised? Yes. If the system that you are using, let's say you are using a computer, if the hardware of the computer is compromised, well, tails can be compromised as well, and the person that has the computer, well, can see what you've done on it. But if the computer is not compromised and if it's something safe, for example, let's say you're using a laptop and you want to connect to the deep web from a coffee shop. Well, no one's gonna notice it because well, you're connecting Tails with a USB key to your laptop, and it's not gonna it's gonna leave no trace that you connected Tails to the laptop. So once again, this is why it's an amazing tool to have, and the fact that you can use it to connect to the deep web from any computer is really an amazing thing to have. So let's try to find that out on the web so I can show you guys how this software works. One last thing, this is an open source software, so it's once again it's not gonna cost you nothing, it's completely free. And once again, if you guys want to use it as an alternative to Tor, you can. It's an amazing tool. So let's look what it looks like. So the first thing you want to do, guys, is open up your web browser. Let's say it's Google Chrome. You simply go on Google and you write down Tails. So here we go. Tails is this program right here. So as you can see, you will be on this website. Right now it's in French, you can put it in English. If you want to install it, you simply click on install. From this point, they will ask you where you want to install it. You can install it on Windows, Mac, or Linux. Simply click on Windows if you have a Windows. And as you can see, they will tell you what exactly you will need for this installation. You will need a USB key of at least 8 gigabytes. And it's gonna take about 1 hour, or it could take less if your internet speed is faster. But besides of that, you don't need nothing more. When the installation is done, once again, you will need to restart your computer, and from this point they guide you step by step how you can install this software directly on your computer. Well, on the USB key that you will be able to use after that on your computer. So as I said, guys, and that's an amazing tool. Once again, we are not gonna go in depth of this tool because we are focusing only on Tor for this class. And once again, it's just an introduction to the deep web. It's not a complete security class, so we are gonna stick to Tor. But if you guys wanna go more in depth and learn a bit more about Tails, well, I definitely suggest you to use it because once again, it's an amazing way to access the deep web from any type of computer. So that's it for this class, guys, and see you all in our next class. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome back to another of our amazing classes about the deep web, the complete introduction. So in today's class, we are gonna talk about deep web marketplaces and well, ways that you will buy products on the deep web. The first thing that you guys will need to know is that the deep web, or the Tor browser, everything that is around the deep/dark web, is made to be and stay anonymous. So the way that you are buying stuff on this kind of market is also made to be and stay anonymous. This is why you will typically, well, in 99.999% of times, will not use your credit card, because if a marketplace asks you for a credit card, you will definitely gonna get hacked all your credit card informations. So never put any of your bank, credit card, or any information on any deep web marketplaces. On those marketplaces, you will use an anonymous way of paying for the goods that you are buying. Let's say you are buying a television on the deep web. You are gonna pay anonymously for this television. How you will pay for it? Well, you will pay with cryptocurrency. And this is what this course will be about. We are gonna talk about cryptocurrencies. And in the next parts of, in the next classes, we're going to talk how to buy it, how to make purchases, and how to navigate on marketplaces. So let's start. So as I said, what's a cryptocurrency? The first thing is that it's an internet-based medium of exchange. What does it mean? It simply means that it's a way to make purchases on the internet, or in any, especially on internet. This type of currency became very popular around it came to life in 2009 with the Bitcoin, and became very popular in the years that followed because of its anonymity and the fact that you can't really retrace a transaction, because once again it's really anonymous, and the way that it's made You have public keys, you have private keys, and all this creates something that adds anonymity to every transaction. Well, it gives anonymity to every transaction because you will never have a name, you will never have an address or whatever, and it's really, really a anonymous transaction. What brings us to the second point, which is it's not controlled by any central authority. So how it can stay anonymous? Well, there is no banks that control, let's say, the Bitcoin or the Ethereum or any type of cryptocurrency, and that's an amazing way to keep all transactions well secure. It's like if you're going on, let's say, on the streets and you buy something cash. Let's say you are going to someone who's selling ice cream and you buy an ice cream cash. Well, no one will know besides of the person that sold you the ice cream that you bought the ice cream cash. Well, that you buy an ice cream. But if you go, let's say, and you buy this ice cream with a credit card or with a credit card or a debit card, well, it's gonna leave a trace on your bank statement, and it's gonna say that, oh, you made this transaction that day. But when you're buying with the cryptocurrency, there is no bank statement. There is no, well, there is nothing. It's like paying for something cash, to a seller that you don't know and he doesn't know you. So it's really, really anonymous, and it's really about numbers. You don't know the seller don't know you. You transfer the money to him, he transfers the goods to you, and there is no middleman. This is the beauty of cryptocurrency, and buying with the use of cryptocurrency. This is why, as I said, it's completely anonymous, and there is, yeah, well, there are ways to retrace transactions, but once again, it's very, very hard to retrace because it's on the blockchain technology. It's not like regular transactions when you have, let's say, with a credit card, you have a bank statement that says, "Oh, that day you went to that store and you bought something." In this case, well, in the case of using cryptocurrencies, you have a complete anonymity because you have no bank statement. Well, not only no bank statement, you have absolutely no information from where the transaction went and who sent you the goods or whatever. It's like literally like buying something cash from a seller that doesn't know you and you don't know him. So just imagine it that way. All right. So how it works for those who are interested, how cryptocurrency works. Once again, it's not a cryptocurrency course, but just for you guys to understand how it works. Let's say someone requests a transaction, a buyer or seller requests a transaction. Let's say you request a transaction from the seller. Um, so after that, the request will be broadcasted to a P2P peer-to-peer network that consists of computers, and all those computers, let's call them nodes. After that, this network will complete the transaction, and the blockchain technology is, how can I explain it? It's really, let's say, imagine blocks. The way it's built, imagine blocks one after the other, and you can't change, let's say, one block without changing all the blocks before him. So this creates the security of the transaction, and that this could not be hacked. Well, it's very, very difficult to hack a blockchain technology since it's a new technology. And once again, it's very, very hard to retrace all the transactions because of this. Because as I said, it's really, well, you can see it as blocks, but once again, it's very complicated to understand. And finally, at the end of all this process, well, transaction is completed. Usually, transactions that involves cryptocurrency will take, well, they are almost instantaneous. They are made in the second. Like, let's say you make the transaction and it takes 1 to 2 seconds to complete the transaction. So once again, it's very, very secure, and so as I said, there is no, well, there is always a certain risk involved, but in our case, let's say you are staying on the light side and you are buying stuff like television or, let's say, computers or whatever on the deep web. There is no risk for you guys to have any problems with the cryptocurrency use. The only risk that I know it's not really associated with buying or selling stuff is, let's say you buy the cryptocurrency and you keep it. Since it's very, very volatile, it's not always a good idea to do, because once again the price fluctuates a lot, and it can go really high at the same way that it can go really really low. So you can lose or win a lot of money. But once again, it's not a risk that is associated with buying stuffs on the deep web. So right now you know how it works, and you know what's a cryptocurrency. So that completes our course, and see you all in our next class, where we are gonna talk about how to buy cryptocurrency and where to find it. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome back to another of our amazing courses about the deep web, the complete introduction. So in today's class, we are gonna talk about how to buy cryptocurrency. So right now, until now, you know what's a cryptocurrency, but you need to understand the concept behind buying cryptocurrency and how to use it. So in the normal world, we have money, which we can call fiat money. Um, when we wanna store this money, we're gonna store it in a bank, and we have a bank account. Then we are able to pay with our card. For the cryptocurrencies, it works pretty much the same way. So you take your you buy your cryptocurrency, and you store it. You have to store it somewhere. So you can store it directly on on your desktop, but that's not the purpose here. Our goal is to have access to it very very easily. So we are gonna use a wallet that is directly online. So to store your cryptocurrency, you will use a wallet. It could be a wallet, as I said, it can be stored on your computer directly. It could be a cold storage wallet, which is stored, let's say, on a small server or a small hard drive, which is stored somewhere at your home. But once again, we are gonna talk only about wallets that are online. So the wallets that we are gonna talk about today will be Coinbase and blockchain.com. Those two wallets are, I think, very, very useful and very easy to use. We are not gonna, the pictures that you're gonna see there are not my account, so it's just as example accounts. So I'll show you a little bit what it is and how it works, and why they are very cool to use. So the first one that we are gonna see will be Coinbase. So when you get on the website, you will have to create yourself an account. So you will have to add your email address, and security level, it's secure, because every time that you will connect, you'll receive an SMS and you will have to enter your code. So it's very very secure. Same thing for blockchain. The way it works, you get connected. When you get connected, you will have your watch list here. So you'll have all your coins and the price, how much they cost. You will be able to buy them. When you add a payment method, you will be able to buy them. So you can buy, with what is cool on Coinbase, that you can buy them, you can sell them, and it's like really real time. So let's say you buy one Bitcoin. If the price goes up, you can resell it. So you can make money trading. Let's say, for example, you don't go on the darknet. You can directly trade your cryptocurrency on Coinbase, which is really really cool. Also, when you buy your cryptocurrency, it's gonna be stored directly here, so you will be able to see it on your portfolio. For the moment, as you can see, I have no cryptocurrencies, and the cryptocurrencies that you are going to buy the most will be the Bitcoin, which is the cryptocurrency that is the most used on the deep web. Ethereum also. And for the rest, you have Monero also, but once again, it really depends of the websites that you visit. Let's say a website the majority of the websites on the deep web will usually use the Bitcoin, but let's say a website asks you for a specific cryptocurrency. For example, they want to sell you products, but only in Dash. You'll be able to come back here and buy your Dash cryptocurrency, which is once again really really cool, because if, for example, you wanna trade your cryptocurrency, you can trade it directly here. Also, if you invite a friend, you get a small commission. Besides of that, you have your all your prices here. So for all the cryptocurrencies, for the moment they have only 19, as you can see. It varies. Sometimes they add some new cryptocurrencies. Sometimes they delete some of them. So yeah, it's really what's cool with the Coinbase, that, as I said, it's a platform that you can use as a wallet, but it's also a trading platform. So let's say you're someone who want to trade or who is trading, well, you can do it directly on Coinbase. Also, if I'm not mistaken, those are just the best cryptocurrencies. You have a lot more of other cryptocurrencies here. Once again, the cryptocurrencies that are the most used for, like, let's say for buying products, will be those ones right here. Well, the Bitcoin and the Ethereum. As I said, maybe Monero on some websites, but once again, it really depends. All right, next platform will be blockchain.com. So it works absolutely the same way. You want to buy your, well, the first thing you want to do is create your account. So you go on blockchain.com. Once your account is created, this platform is really for buying and selling cryptocurrency. So you will have this dashboard right here. So if you want to buy crypto, you will just click there. You click on buy crypto. They will ask you, at first you will not see this thing right there. You will have to choose your currency. So you simply choose your first currency with which you want to buy your crypto. So let's say I'm gonna use British pound. So let's say I want to buy 100 British pounds of cryptocurrency. Continue. And as you can see, they will connect me here and I will have to fill all my personal data. And then I can buy my cryptocurrency using credit card or PayPal account. Usually it's very, very simple to, well, to buy crypto. Once you have your cryptocurrency, the way it's gonna work, you will have a public key and a private key. And when you want to make your transaction, normally you will only put on your public key. You will never write down your private key. And it's very, well, it's very simple. Let's say you want to, I don't know, you want to exchange or you want to send it to someone. So right here, you will write down the public key of the person, and you will simply send your well, how much you want to send of crypto to this person. You can send it in money, you can send in Bitcoins. This works the same way when you buy products on the deep web. Let's say you choose a product to buy. You will only enter your public key normally. You don't enter your private key because this one, you keep it for you. And yeah, so that's it. It's very, very simple. Also, you can borrow cryptocurrencies here, but once again, you need to be higher level. So as I said, you can buy your cryptocurrency there. So it's here. If you want to swap your cryptocurrency, which is, let's say, exchange Bitcoin for Ethereum, it's going to be there. So you will need to have cryptocurrency at first. You need to buy some. And that's it. Well, you can trade also. But once again, our goal is really to buy crypto. It's not to trade or whatever. So to buy cryptocurrency, once again, two platforms, two very, very simple platforms to use. Coinbase, blockchain, they don't require, I don't know how much verifications. Very simple to use. You get in, you enter your name and everything, and you can buy your crypto. Once you have your crypto stored there, congratulations, you have a wallet with the cryptocurrency. And from this moment, well, you are able to buy things on the deep web. So that's it for this course, guys. Right now, you know exactly how to buy cryptocurrency and where this cryptocurrency will be stored. At this moment, we will see how can we buy products on the deep web. Alright, so once again, hello guys and welcome back to another of our amazing courses about the deep web. So in today's class, we are gonna talk about a very interesting subject, which is it safe to buy things on the dark web? So before we start, I'd like to make a quick disclaimer. So everything that you are going to learn in this class is absolutely educational. So everything is really for education, and well, you don't really have to do it. It's just well, for education. All right. So when there are two types of web, you should know it until now. You have the surface web and the deep/dark web. When you're buying something on the surface web, let's say you're buying, I don't know, a computer on Amazon. Let's say the computer comes at your place and the computer is not working, or the computer just never comes at your place. Well, it's very simple for you to call Amazon, explain them the problems, and you'll receive a complete refund for because you have been frauded or because the product didn't work. So that's a way that this can work. Or you can simply call your credit card provider and they will just block the transaction because a fraud have happened. So this is one way that you can do things on the surface web. On the dark web is a bit more. It's a bit more different because everyone is anonymous. So everything that's happening, all the transactions, all the sellers, or all the buyers, are all anonymous. No one knows with who he is dealing. So the problem here is that if, for example, you are making a purchase, let's say you're buying a television on the deep web. Let's say you want to be anonymous and you decide to buy a television on the deep web, and the television doesn't work well. Well, you don't really have no way to find out the seller or block the transaction or whatever, because as the second that you transfer the money to the seller, well, you will not hear from him after that. It's impossible because you can't really find him. You can't really, because there is no middleman when you're dealing with cryptocurrency. It's buyer to seller, so you transfer the money to the seller, or you're the seller, the buyer transfers you the money, you transfer him the product, but there is no middleman. So in this case you have to trust the seller who is in front of you, even if he's anonymous. So now we have now that you know all this and you know one of the dangers of dealing on the deep web, the first thing we are gonna talk about here is if it's safe. But the first way to know if it's safe, well, it's gonna be by asking yourself what you are looking for on the deep web. Everything depends of the type of product that you want. Let's say you want to buy something that is that exists on the clear web. Let's say you want to buy a television. You're getting on a website with with a lot of, I don't know, electronic stuff, and you have one seller that has a lot of reviews, and well, it's very cool. So you buy a television from him. There is more chances that this guy, well, is giving a good service, since he has a lot of reviews, since he has a good product, than the other guy who sells, I don't know which type of product, that maybe doesn't have a quality in this product and has no reviews or 1-star review. So it really works the same way as the surface web, but once again, it really depends what you are looking for. If you're looking for some other type of things, well, I'm not a specialist in those types of things. Once again, as I said, this course is really for educational purposes. So if you're looking for those types of things, for other types of things, well, I can't really help you with that. Second thing, where you are looking for it. So once again, it's the same thing as on the surface web. When you are buying products from the deep web, let's say your main goal is just to remain anonymous. It will depend where you're looking for your product. Let's say once again you want to buy a television on the deep web. Everything will let's say on the surface web you want to buy this television. If you want to buy this television on the surface web, you will go on a website that has a certain reputation. So you will go, let's say for example, on Amazon, or you'll go on eBay, or on a e-commerce that has a certain reputation of selling good products and that have traffic and reviews, because you want to be sure that you will receive the product. It's the same thing on the deep web. So if you're looking for your television on some random website, it's maybe not the place to look for this kind of product. If you're going instead in a good marketplace that looks good, where you see that there's a lot of traffic, that people are buying, and the product has a lot of reviews, well, you have more chances to receive your product there than from some sketchy website. Last thing, every website on the deep web that asks you for your personal information, or your credit card, or anything else than cryptocurrency, is, well, you have 99.99% chances that they try to just steal your information. So never deal with those types of websites, because the deep web or the dark web are two places where everyone wants to remain anonymous. If a website asks you for your credit card info, asks you for your PayPal, or whatever type of payment information they ask you for, it's gonna be a scam. So just stay away from those types of websites. If something is too good to be true, well, it's maybe too good to be true. Like if you see, let's say for example, a cell phone for the equivalent of $100, an iPhone X for the equivalent of $100 in Bitcoins on some website, well, it's probably a scam. So be very, very careful with those type of things. So as I said, guys, first thing you want to identify what you're looking for, what you want to buy. Once again, if you're looking, let's say, for some electronic stuff or some things that exist on the surface web and you want to buy them simply anonymously on the deep web, it's possible. There are marketplaces for this. Then you want to find out those marketplaces. We will look at some of them in our next class. And finally, never use websites that use anything else than cryptocurrency, because those websites only try to steal your information. And you will not remain anonymous, so there is no point of using those types of websites, because in the end you could just buy your product on the surface web. So that's it for this course, guys, and see you all in our next class. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome back to another of our courses about the deep web. So in today's class, we are gonna talk about marketplaces and how to buy stuff on the deep web. So in the dark web, in the dark web, it's very hard to find products when you want to buy some products right there. Why? Because you want to find people that are trustful. You want to find websites that are trustful, and I personally don't buy things on the dark web because I just go there to read, for example, news or just to read books. This is my main purpose, but we are gonna look at some marketplaces and what they are looking like. And once again, this course is really for you guys to see what type of things you can find on the deep web, and it's really for educational purpose more than buying real products on the deep web. Well, if you want to buy some legal products, that's okay, but once again, that's for you. It's just for educational purpose. So let's start. The first thing that we want to do is go on our Hidden Wiki website. So you can simply copy the URL that you see here directly on your computer. From this point, when you wrote it down, you can simply click on enter. You should be back on the website right here. So you have a lot of, like always, you have a lot of things. And we are gonna look at commercial services and marketplaces. Marketplaces there. So we are gonna look at commercial services. There are other Hidden Wiki websites that exist. Well, they have plenty of those that exist. This one is my favorite because you only have good links on it. But you have some other websites that exist. For example, this one is also it's a Hidden Wiki because you have you have here the links, and you have those are the descriptions of the link, what you can find. So for example, Torch, well, it's a search engine. Marketplace, for example, right here you have you have NL Growers. It's a coffee shop grade So as you can see, you have a lot of interesting things here too. So once again, that's another type of Hidden Wiki. It's just links, and you have the description of the link. But let's go back to our Hidden Wiki right here. So we wanna, let's say we wanna look for products. For example, we wanna buy some electronics, for example, cell phones or computers. So we will look on commercial services. Okay, what we have here, the first link, mobile stores. So it's a factory unlocked iPhone and other smartphones. We'll look at this website right there. And what we have, okay, do we have something else? Okay, Apple for Bitcoins. We have another website, so cheap Apple products for Bitcoins. Alright, so we have two websites that we'll visit. Alright, so the first one is this one. So it's a website that sells iPhones. So as you can see, iPhone XS 256 gigabytes is sold for this price, and you will pay in Bitcoins. So it's always in Bitcoins that you pay on the dark web, as I said. If the price were in USD and they told you to put on your credit card, well, once again, it will be a complete scam. But as you can see, you have here the price in USD and it's converted in Bitcoins. Same thing here. So if you want to buy a Samsung Galaxy S10, well, you have your price and your price in Bitcoins. So you simply click, you choose your entity, you click on buy now, and you will have to create yourself an account. Once again, when you create an account, you only enter username, password. You don't have to enter no address, no nothing. You simply enter username, password, and when you will have filled everything, that's only at this, well, when you will buy your product, it's only there that you will enter your address. So let's look at the second website. Okay, it looks about the same. So iPhone XS and XR. So once again, you have iPhone products right here, as you can see. They are sold for 355 USDs or 400 USDs. Usually those products are directly sold from the manufacturer. For example, you have an employee of the business that is working in some other country, and well, they have the product for way less, or I don't know how they get the product, but at the end of the day, well, you can have it at this price. But once again, I personally never bought a product on the deep web / dark web. I can't really recommend this because this course is really about initiating you to the dark web, not really buying products. So if you want to do it, that's up to you. But once again, it's just to show you how it works. Same thing for MacBook Pros. As you can see here, you have MacBook Pros at this price. So you'll never find this type of price on the surface web. It works the exact same way. Let's say want to buy the iPhone, we simply click on buy now. Once again, we'll wait because yeah, sometimes it takes time. Okay, so you get the point. It takes a little bit too much time, but okay. So once again, as you can see, they ask you to log in, so you have to log in or create a new account to be able to pass the transaction. So it works the exact same way. You will simply have to create yourself an account, and at the end, only you will enter your address. Well, the address where you want to send the product to. For example, you want to buy this product. Well, if you want to send it somewhere, that's where you're gonna enter your address. It works the exact same way as buying products on the surface web. Only you can have it for way cheaper here. But once again, it's not always sure that the website is legit or the seller is legit and that you will really receive the product. So you will have to be very, very careful about this. So as I told you guys, first thing you want to do is really go on our Hidden Wiki website. You go on marketplaces, and right here you can have a lot of different marketplaces that are very interesting. So if you want to buy, I don't know, iPhones, or you want to buy other products, well, everything is there. You also have some other alternatives right here, or this one. You can just copy the link that you see here on your computer, and from there you will have access to plenty of links, and all those links, well, you have some marketplaces in all those links, and well, you can simply go and take a look at marketplaces. But once again, I really suggest you to just take a look for I don't know if you want to look what it looks like or just for fun, but besides of that, well, it's just a deep web. So if you want to take a look at it just for fun, I suggest you can find interesting things. But once again, I don't really suggest people to buy things on those marketplaces. If you want to do it, once again, it's up to you, but I don't suggest it. So that's it for this course, guys. Right now, you know how to access marketplaces and what type of products you can find here. If you want to visit by yourself, well, that's up to you. It's gonna increase your experience in visiting the deep / dark web. Besides of that, that's it for this class, and see you all in our next class. Alright, so once again, hello guys, and welcome back to another of our courses about the deep web. So in today's class, we are gonna talk about all the dangers that are present on the darknet. So yeah, let's start. So the first thing, before looking at all those points, the darknet, as you saw in previous classes, is a world of a lot of things. You can have very interesting things, such as libraries or all kind of stuff. You can look at them all on your wiki, hidden wiki. Um, but also you can find a lot of other type things that are not as amazing as they are. This is why it could be also one of, for me honestly, I consider this as one of the biggest dangers of the deep web, because it can, well, when you see certain stuff, sometimes it's not, you don't really want to see them, so we can say it that way. This is one of the dangers of the deep web. But from a technical point of view, um, first of all, you have a lot of viruses and malwares in a lot of websites. So if you visit bad websites, well, sometimes you can have viruses or malwares or a lot of stuff like this. Um, so it's very, very, very important for you guys to be very careful on the website that you are visiting. Once again, this course is really just an introduction, so it just introducts you, show you what exists, show you what to do, what not to do. It's not a complete course about security where I explain you how to hide everything and all this kind of stuff. So it's really just an introduction show. So just try to stay away from certain kind of websites, and if you don't know a website link, well, simply just don't click on it. If you are sure about a link or a website, well, you can go and visit it. It's the same thing as the surface web, just you have to be a bit more careful, because once again, there is no censor on the deep web. You can find a lot of disturbing things sometimes, and those disturbing things can come with malwares and viruses also. And the type of viruses that you have on the deep web can sometimes be very, very powerful and just destroy your computer. So or steal all your banking information. So be very, very careful about this. Never click on a link, well, that you don't know. Second thing, users can find where you are. Once again, it's not all users. I'm talking about some good hackers. So if there are some websites on the deep web, and there are some stories of people who have been tracked down because well, they insulted some other people, or they just acted bad with some people. So be very careful. Once again, I'm saying this. It's not, you are anonymous on the deep web. Don't worry, everything's anonymous. What we saw in this course, if you're using Tails and Tor, you should be anonymous. But once again, you don't want to offend the wrong person, because you have good persons on the deep web, but you also have a lot of criminals. So you have to be careful with the people that you are dealing with. So from this point of view, try to be very, very careful. So this can be also one of the dangers of the dark web, not the deep web, of the dark web. And it's not, the last thing is that it's not the deep/dark web that is dangerous in itself as a whole, because what it is in the end is just a lot of websites put it together. It's the people that can be on it. It's like the surface web, but on the deep web, since there is a lot more of criminality that is going on in this place, well, the dark web is more dangerous. So there are more dangerous people on this type of place. So try to not give your address or banking information to those people, because once again, if you start doing so, well, guess what's gonna happen? If you offend the wrong person and they have your information, well, you don't know what they can do. So those are, for me, the dangers of the dark web. The biggest one, as I said, is often viruses and malwares. The two others, yes, they are here, but if you act simply as a normal person, well, it should not happen to you. But be very careful about viruses and malwares. So just the websites that you are visiting, try to not visit all the links that you see, because once again, there is no censors on the web, on the deep web/dark web. So you need to be sure about the websites that you guys are visiting. So that's it for this course, guys, and see you all in our next class. Alright, so hello guys, and welcome back to another of our courses. In today's class, we are gonna talk about some tricks that you can use to stay safe on the deep web. So you're gonna see the tricks that I'm gonna give you are very simple. We talked about them in our other classes. it's absolutely the same things that you can use on the surface web, honestly. So the first one will be not clicking on the links. So for you guys, most of you will be beginners. When you go on a forum, because that's one of the things that everybody will do when they start out on deep web, they go on forums, they go on different social networks. And you'll see there is a lot of people that will post links. The last thing that you guys want to do is click on those links, because it's, well, you never know where those links can take you. So once again, the first thing you want to do is never click on links. You can start out your deep web journey, as we saw, by going on Hidden Wiki, which is an amazing place. You have links. Those links, for the majority of them, are sure, well, are very, well, they're safe for the majority of them. So those are links that you can use. You can find out other links. The more you're gonna be on the deep web, the more you're gonna meet people. You will, you'll get to know more places. But once again, just don't start clicking on every link that you find on the deep web, because it's gonna end up very badly for your computer. Second thing, don't visit sites that you don't know. It's exactly the same thing as we talked about at the first one, so do not click on links. Third thing, don't trust people on forums. So the majority of forums, well, once again, you have forums where they talk about ethical hacking. You have forum where it's more trustful. But in the majority of forums, don't trust people everywhere. It's like, it's the same thing as on the surface web. If you start trusting everyone that says I can make you $1 million, well, guess what? You're gonna get scammed. So don't trust people on forums. Don't follow no one on those forums. You can go there to try to learn new stuff, but if people starts to put links and all this kind of stuff, don't click on them. Besides of that, on your Tor browser, stay on the safest level. So when you're browsing on the darknet, stay on the safest level, because you don't want no one to get access to your computer. And not only this, when you're staying on the safest level, well, people will not attack you with phishing attacks, and also pictures will not show up. So you'll stay really, really safe from absolutely everything. And last thing, do not enter your informations anywhere. So once again, that's the most important of all those. Your information is very precious. Your bank information, your social number, or all this type of information, don't put it anywhere. Even if you think you found a job somewhere on the deep web, well, don't put your information, because once again, that's the best way for them to just hack your information and sell your identity on some other website that resells identities. So once again, guys, stay safe. For the rest, as we saw in our first classes, how to set up our Tor browser. So set it up on the max level of safety. Not only this, don't forget to check all the buttons on your Tor browser, as we saw in the first course. So this way, no one will access your camera, your monitor, and well, nothing. And you don't want to let no one. Don't go on social websites on the deep web where you can FaceTime with people or talk by camera with people, because once again, you never know with who you're gonna talk, and those websites are in the majority of times not secure, and it's just a way for you guys to just steal money from you or just hack your computer. So that's it for this course, guys, and see you all in our next class, where we all are gonna talk about the course summary. Alright, once again, hello guys, and welcome back to our last class about the deep web, the complete introduction. So congratulations, guys, you completed the whole course. So until now, what you saw, you should know exactly what is the deep web. So that's what we saw at the beginning of the course. You should know the difference between the deep web and the dark web, because yes, there is an important difference between both of them. Also, how it can be used for legal purposes, and that right now you should know also that the dark web is not only a place where everyone is evil and only bad people go there. You have very good people that go there only to read news, to be able to access websites that are censored in their countries, to be able to access news that are censored in their countries. And once again, this is a good thing for you guys to know, because if you're living in some countries where information is censored, well, you can access it. You can use the Tor browser to access this information. Uh, about the Tor browser, after that, we had a complete introduction about it. So right now you should know what's the Tor browser, how it works, how to set it up. We talked about the Tor security, what's the security of Tor, and some safety tricks. After that, we talked about the concept of anonymity and why people wants to be anonymous when they when they go on internet. Um, the difference between the surface web and the dark web, also, like people who are anonymous, why exactly they don't care to be non-anonymous on the surface web, and on the deep web they want to be anonymous. After that, we went on the live part. We download the Tor browser. So right now you should have the Tor browser on your computer. You should be able to, well, access it because it's on your computer. And also you should be able to access the hidden wiki right now, because it's the place where where you will be able to find all your links to all the deep web websites, which is a really good thing to start in this field. Also, you should know right now about Tails. We had an introduction about Tails. So once again, we didn't had a practical course about Tails, because once again my goal here was only to make a complete introduction and talk more about the course about the deep web in theory, then create a complete security class where I'm gonna talk how to set up Tails, how to set up everything. It was just an introduction, just for the purpose of you guys to know that this exists. So once again, as I said, we talked about Tails, and I really recommend you guys to get this program, because once again, it's a free software, and you can use the Tor browser in it. And once again, Tails is really a operating system, so you can use it with the Tor browser. You can put Tor on it and use it that way, and you will be able to use it on all kind of computers. So once again, I hope you guys will use it. Next thing, we saw how to make purchases on the deep web. We had an introduction about cryptocurrency. We talked about crypto. We had a practical course on how to buy crypto, how to get access to, how to have a crypto wallet, what is crypto, and we saw if it's safe to buy product on deep web. We saw also some marketplaces on live. Finally, we talked about the dangers of the dark net and how to stay safe. And right now, that you guys have completed and you have all this information, I hope you guys will use it the right way. Once again, all this was only for educational purpose. You guys right now know that all this exists. Of course, you can visit the deep web, and it's not illegal at all to visit it. I highly recommend you guys to visit it if it's for reading books, or if going on the deep web library, for example, or going on forums, reading about different subjects, because there is a lot of things that are censored on the normal web, on the surface web, that are not censored on the deep web. So this is why I highly recommend you guys to take a look, visit it, but don't forget, stay very, very careful, because once again, this is it could be, well, there is no censor. So if there is no censor, well, you can find any kind of information. This is why I'm asking you guys to stay safe, and don't forget antivirus, and using Tails. You can use only Tor, it can work, it will protect your anonymity, but if you want to be able to use it anywhere, for example any computer, well, I really suggest you to download Tor instead of downloading Tails, sorry, instead of just downloading Tor on all computers that you find. Besides of that, don't forget, guys, this course is really for educational purpose. The deep web can be very, very dangerous. But right now that you have all this information, I hope you guys like the course. And once again, it was just a complete introduction. It wasn't supposed to go really in depth or do some expert things like going in seeing all the security around this. This is just an introduction, guys, for you to be able to get access to the deep web, and for you guys to know a little bit how all this works. So that's it for this course, guys, and see you in any other of my courses on another time. So thanks again, and see you.